Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Boss.
Present.
Pipia.
Here.
Graham.
Here.
Fry.
Present.
Hughes.
Present.
Schroller.
Here.
Drum.
Here.
Barnes.
Present.
Quorum, 8.
All right, the first item is the approval of minutes from the November 12th meeting. Does anyone have amendments?
Mayor, I have something to add. It would be on the page 2, page 1 of the actual minutes. Under Veterans Wall, I'd like a second paragraph to say, CM Boss asked Assistant Chief Oldie for clarification of statements in his resignation letter concerning police department cross-training and alleged actions of council members.
Is he assistant chief or is he sergeant?
He's a sergeant.
Can you
Okay.
change that to sergeant?
Sure.
Is that the only thing you had?
Yes.
Is there any other amendments?
Just a clarification on the page 5 of 5 under Civic Day. It was just, there was adults and students that signed up emails. It wasn't all students, so.
So 8 adults and students.
Yeah, number 4 on page 5 of
Okay.
5.
All right. Do you care that yours
Under
says
round
Civics
table.
Day and, do you care that yours says Civics Day and the other one says Civic Engagement? Do you care?
No,
Okay. I just didn't know since it was the same date. Okay, is there anything else? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve as amended.
Move to approve the regular minutes, November 12th meeting, 2019, as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. All right, the next item is public comments. I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation for the American Legion Auxiliary Centennial Community Proclamation. It says, whereas the American Legion was chartered by Congress in 1919 as a wartime veterans organization based on the 4 pillars of care for veterans, national security, Americanism, and children and youth, and whereas the members of the American Legion are dedicated to upholding the ideals of freedom and democracy while working to make a difference in the lives of fellow Americans, and whereas the American Legion Auxiliary was also founded in 1919 to support the American Legion and honor the sacrifice of those who served by enhancing the lives of our veterans, military, and their families, both at home and abroad, whereas the American Legion Auxiliary is celebrating its centennial in 2019 to 2020. Now, therefore, I, Carla Grund, Mayor of Marysville, Kansas, do hereby proclaim November 10, 2019 as American Legion Auxiliary Centennial Day, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the official seal of Marysville, Kansas on the 25th day of November 2019. So if you would post that, and congratulations to the auxiliary for 100 years. So,
we don't like the day over, do we?
no,
Thank you.
so, and all the poppies, so. All right, are there any other public comments? All right, we'll move on to business and discussion items. The first thing is NLC service line and warranty.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Council, Mayor, for your invitation. I'm Lee Zell. I'm your Regional Director for the National League of Cities Service Line Program. Recently, I met with some of you at the League of Kansas Municipalities, and we had a chance to review through some different presentations and discussions the National League of Cities Service Line Program. The reason that I've come to visit is Councilman Voss had invited me to make a presentation, and I spoke with your city administrator, Mr. St. John, And so we made sure that you had information before I came so that you could review some of that. And I'm here to walk you through what is the National League of Cities Service Line Program. In case you're not familiar, the National League of Cities was created by your state league some 90 years ago, 93 years ago to be specific. And the purpose of it was to give a larger national response to your state and city's needs so that we would help you not reinvent the wheel when something had already been well presented and found to be very successful across the nation. So our purpose is to help you solve the problems that you face daily as a council. And so in this case, the National League of Cities, one of the tasks that you would ask us to do through many other cities as well is in the last 11 years, aging water and sewer infrastructure has become a national issue. There was a report that came out in 2013 from the American Society of Civil Engineers that rated our national water and sewer infrastructure a D+. And when this happened, we turned around and came back to the cities that we were talking to across the nation and asked them, is this something you need us to raise our focus on so that we can bring back additional information to you? And as we discussed that with each city, many of the cities described, they said, we have a 1 year, a 3 year, maybe a 5 year plan. We're doing everything to revitalize and rework everything within our right-of-way. And we started hearing that frequently from cities across the nation. And as we heard the within our right-of-way, we stopped for a moment and we went back to those cities and we shared that when we looked at the same issue for you, we looked at the city footprint more like a postage stamp from edge to edge, top to bottom, the entire city. And when we looked at it from that perspective, we realized that any improvements that cities across the nation were making to improve your infrastructure within the right-of-way was only a portion of what the system needed, because as you improve the city's infrastructure within the right-of-way, what happens is the weakest link of what remains is where you see the failures. And so often in cities all across the nation right now, they're realizing this. And what they're realizing is, as they spend millions of dollars improving the right-of-way infrastructure, just the year after they make those improvements, the connections where it transitions from the city to the private portions of those lines that return back to the city later, those sections are failing. And that's because just as your city has been here quite a while, a lot of the properties have been here quite a while, and the homes have had new roofs, new paint jobs, maybe new updates to the rest of the properties, but most of the infrastructure is underground, and there's been no budget for those areas, so they never had an update. So as your city tightens up your water system and your sewer system, what ends up happening is those portions are overwhelmed with the increased pressures and so forth. And so they begin to fail over and over as different portions of the city infrastructure are improved. So the National League of Cities understood that, and our purpose was to understand the impeding pressures that were impacting the residents and the cities together. And how that happens is, it's very common in a city a little bigger than yours, but about the same size, to have about 100 calls a month from residents or property owners calling into the city saying, there's water out here. I don't know if it's water or sewer, but it's water. And you got to come take a look. Pretty much 100 calls to the city, 100 times the city's going to send staff, resources, and equipment to that point. And they're going to find out that 93 out of 100 phone calls you receive, on average, 93 is the actual average nationally. 93 out of 100 times, your staff is on the curb, and a few minutes later, they're like, we found the problem, and here's the person that called. and they're speaking to a property owner, and they're saying, well, Ms. Davis, we did find it. Unfortunately, it's beyond the point that the city maintains. So in this case, we have to turn this over to you, and you have to reach out to a contractor that you'll have to find yourself. And so often, those property owners, we asked them, we said, what is your next step? And they told us, they said, I'm calling someone I voted for. And so many of them will pick up the phone, they'll call you, they'll come to your office, they'll come to your work if they know where you work. And they're there because it's their worst day. They're ankle deep in muck, they don't have an alternative, and they're asking, Mayor, isn't there something that you can do? I've known you since I was your third grade school teacher. I'm retired now. I'm on a limited income. Our children go to play soccer together. Our boys play football. The girls are in the choir together. Isn't there some way you can help me? And as soon as the question comes out, the elected officials turn to themselves internally and think, I can't take public tax dollars and use them on private property. I want to help my neighbor, but I know I can't do that. So those elected officials across the nation from the cities that we visit ask us, they said, we need your help. We need the National League of Cities to give us guidance on how you can help us get ahead of this issue. So specifically, the National League of Cities listened, and for the last 11 years, we've been creating for you what is the National League of Cities Service Line Program. The program is no cost to your city. We don't use any tax dollars of the cities whatsoever. The program is voluntary for all residents in your city. It is not mandatory that any resident participate in the program. So what does it do? What it does is we communicate 3 times a year, in the spring, the fall, and the winter, strictly by a letter to all of your residents so that they can understand the national issue that we're dealing with in the letter is, nationally, we have a water and sewer issue, and it's very severe. Locally, your city government is doing a great job. They have a budget, they have the resources, they have the staff, and they have a plan. However, locally, we realize as a city that many residents call us each month and do not realize that they're not the only ones that have ever called. And when they call us, they ask for help as though they're the only one that's ever had this issue. And we need to let you know this is something that we've heard of before, and we do get these calls. And more often than not, it is our position as a public policy that our city has to point out to those residents who call us that once the problem is beyond the water meter, once the problem is beyond the tap on the sewer main that leads back to your house, these issues are yours to handle. We need you to be aware of this now so that in the future, on not the best day, you can actually understand that before that happened, what our answer will be. Our goal is to help you prepare in a way that you want to. So by the resident receiving the letter, we're letting them understand the issue. We're letting them see before it becomes an issue what the public policy of the city is and what it would be on that day, what the answer would be. But also we're helping them to understand they need to prepare. Because so many residents do not have the means to prepare, the National League of Cities understood from the residents calling into cities that many of them said, well, I called the plumber after you told me what to do, and then I found out this is $4,500. It might as well be $1 million. I don't have that kind of money. And so the National League of Cities created a safety net portion of the program. And that program is set up so that all residents have access to it. No residents are required to use it. And again, there is no cost to the city for it. And what that does is it allows the resident, when they say, I need help, I think I have an issue. I am concerned because my house is 86 years old or 26 years old. I want to know how I can use this program. They themselves can take the letter and they call and ask the question themselves of the program. The program never calls the resident. And when they call, they say, so how do I know if I qualify for this? The program is set up so that it's communicating in the form of a resident. So it asks them, if you turn on the water in your house, does it come out? Yes. Then your water line qualifies. If you flush a toilet, run a load of clothes, take a shower, does the water drain away? Yes. Then your sewer line qualifies. Okay, well, does it cost me anything? If you choose to voluntarily use the program, it is a month by 1 month program. So you can use it 1 month or many months. To use the water line program, it is $6.49 each 1 month that you need help. If you sign up and something occurs during the month that you're using it, then your cost is only the $6.49. There is no other cost. That's for the water line. If the sewer line has a problem and you say, I'm concerned about my sewer line, the sewer line is $8.49 for each 1 month you need help. You can use it, as I mentioned, for 2 months, 6 months, or 6 years. On the day that you call us and say, last night the basement filled up with sewage and I need help, out comes the local, this city, this county, local licensed businesses from your city and your county to do the repairs. So all the repairs are done locally. They are pulling city permits with city inspections by your city inspectors. If we cross a road, because we take care of road damage, so if there is a connection that leads to a sewer main under the road, we will pull permits, we will repair it, we will repair the road, we will have a city inspection for that. They can call us the next day after it's all done, and they usually do. And they say, well, it's all brand new. I think I should cancel. You can do that. That is how this program is designed. In the last 5 years, this program has paid out $693 million to take care of just private lines for just 700 cities in the United States. In Kansas, there are 21 cities that already have this. In Missouri, there are 40 larger cities near you. Ottawa, Kansas City, Missouri is very large, so they've had this since 2012. They've had 7,300 water and sewer lines replaced as part of this. The program is there not just to help in the way that I've mentioned. The reality is as the National League of Cities made this program available, since then we've had Flint, Michigan occur. Flint, Michigan, we found lead lines, but too late. So now this program says if we find a lead line, if one of your residents has this program and they call, say the water line's broken, out we come. We won't know until we dig that up, but when that plumber digs that up and says, this is a lead line, we tell them stop, cut the line at the meter, cut it at the house, take the whole line out, do not fix this, replace this. That's how the program works. In addition, for the city, how it helps your city even more so is in the cities, as you're improving your portion and you're looking not to impact the residential portions, which are weak, that's where we've already covered. But the next step is as cities improve your portion of the water and sewer system, the next part is I&I. So as you've done all the improvements on the city sewers, when you're finished, you're like, we're done. No. You probably have 40% of the problem still lingering right there. And that is because all of the lateral, all of the connections between their house and your city sewer main, all of that line is ancient. You have no control over it. Yet, as a city, you would love to have some way of asking those residents, please take care of this, because If you're not familiar with I&I is the difference between, on a good day, you process 800,000 gallons of sewage. Washing the clothes, taking a shower, flushing toilets. But it rained today, 1 inch. A 1 inch rainfall in your city now turns into over 3 million gallons of water. But that shouldn't happen because rainwater isn't sewage. But when you deal with I&I, it is. Because what's happening is all those sewer laterals leading to your city main, they have cracks in them from their age. And the cracks are like giant sewer grates in every single yard. And as the water drains into the soil, that's what you expect. But instead, it's draining into these sewer laterals that are directly connected to your sewer mains. Now, instead of 800,000 gallons, you're processing 3 million, and you pay for that. It cost, and I'm sure y'all know, it cost a certain amount per gallon to process. Now you're processing triple or more what you should have been. So what this program does is, as we go through and people voluntarily sign up for this program, now all of a sudden when we find there's a blockage and we're scoping the lines, every single one of them we do that. We're scoping the lines, we're finding all these cracks and all these blockages, and we're going, we got a problem at 6 feet, another at 11, we have debris in here, we got gravel coming in from the top of the ground where the cracks are. We got to replace this line. We got to replace the bad sections. When we leave that yard, that house is no longer part of your I&I issue. It is no longer part of 3 million gallons of water each time it rains. That is the big difference right there. So we start to heal the system in your city. That is the other 40% of the problem. The other is when the cities currently are dealing with issues, as you improve your part of the system, and that I know you're preparing and doing, the other part of the problem is before we came, right now, today, the sewer laterals, private ones leading up to your city system, they've been there for 40, 60, 80, 100 plus years. And under the ground, they're like a cave. They're falling in. And over time, they're just, all the debris that falls in, it just washes to your sewer mains. So every year, maybe every 2 years, I'm certain you've heard that we have to roto-rooter out our mains. We have to keep the flow up because our flow is down. This is causing us to have overflow events in different areas of the city. If this happens frequently, then I'm sure you've already heard that the EPA is coming to visit because we had another EPA or overflow event and the sewage ran out, overflowed, and entered the streams and the rivers nearby. That's the side effects of what we're doing. So what does this program do and why is it so effective in a way that cities can't do themselves? And that is because it is voluntary. It doesn't cost anyone that doesn't want to use it anything. So what's amazing is in every city I visit, I'll point in a direction and it's with a little bit of knowledge, but it doesn't really matter. I'll point over here, and if you're familiar with your water system, I'd say over here in every city, by the way, so it's not just y'all. In every city, I'll say over here is where 85% of your water and sewer infrastructure budget goes. And someone's thinking, no, actually it's back that way. And then my question that everyone has the same answer to is, and you've been spending that kind of money for the last 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And has it ever gotten better? No. And what are we going to do this year? Probably the same thing. What this program does, and it's so effective because it is voluntary, is when the program is communicated, the first thing that happens the first year, and I tell you here, invite me back in a year and a half, we'll share maps and you'll think I'm a fortune teller. Is the first year, 10% of the total number of households in this city are going to sign up voluntarily and say, I want this program. 85% of those live right there. They don't think they live in a bad section of town. They don't. They don't live in a bad section. It just happens to be that they're like, God, we just seem to have to wrestle with this problem so much. And the problem is, the city hasn't ever heard about it because over there, they fixed this problem probably as long as they remember owning this house. They go out every 4, 6, 8 months. They have a problem. They got that funny looking water again. They go to the hardware store, they get what they need, some neighbors come over, they try and Band-Aid it together because we're not using plumbers, we're going to use neighbors. And they put it together and 4 to 6 months later, it doesn't look right again. And they've done this many times, and they'll tell you, yeah, it's been going on forever. And the reason this program is so effective is because you have to think what they're going to think. When they read it and they go, wait a minute, for $8.49, I can sign up for this, and when this thing goes wrong again, I can actually get the good plumber to do it, and they'll do it right. Heck yeah, I'm going to sign up for that. That's what I want to do. And that's what they do. Because when they call us and they say, does the water flush? Does it go away? Yeah. Does the water turn on? Yeah. Then you qualify. They wait 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. Boom. It's bad. It's failed. Here we come. That's how the program is designed. We're not trying to get residents to be plumbers. We just need them to be residents. So now what we're able to do is in the worst area of your city where you're dumping money like it's a bottomless pit, this program voluntarily is addressing specifically the problem areas that your city is facing. And it's going to solve it like you've never been able to with not your money, but the program. That's why it works, because now we have residents who are saying, it was always, I couldn't afford the right thing. I don't know in your city, so I'm not going to take your time to go deep into this, but in so many cities, the other area that we specifically deal with is tenant properties, houses that people rent. And in tenant properties in cities all across the nation, it's common for cities to tell us a scenario and we repeat it back to them as they're saying it, and they're like, you've heard this before. Like, yes, yes we have. And the problem is in tenant properties, so many residents, it's a single parent with kids. They live in a property. It's nothing against tenants, but some kids put different things in the toilet. Rubber duckies, tennis balls, maybe some dirty underwear that they don't want mom to see. But the thing is they flush it. And when they do, mom has to call the landlord again. And the landlord's getting a little frustrated. And so what happens is the landlords may not even live here. They may live 30, 40, they may live 100 miles. They may live in Chicago. But the thing is they're getting calls and they're going, you know, this is the third time I've had to do this. It cost me $500 a time to clear that line. And so they're not quick to react. They're not going to take the call right away. And so that resident, that tenant of yours, your citizen, your resident, is calling over and over and over again. Finally, they get a little frustrated. They ask friends. Their friends say, you know, I saw on YouTube, if you take your son's baseball bat outside, you can smash that clean-out cap right outside the house. Out goes the problem. No tools required, just a baseball bat. But the toilet's flushed, the shower drains, the load of clothes will drain and you can wash clothes. And right after this, all the neighbors around you are going to call the city. And the city is going to react in this way, because that's what cities do. They're going to send out code enforcement. Code enforcement's going to say, hey, you can't do that. You're going to have to put a little fine on here, maybe a lien on the house. And none of this reaction works very well, because what's happening is it's a slow process. It's not getting the attention of the landowner because they're far away, and this all comes back to them later. But very differently, when this letter comes to all property owners, including the ones that live in Chicago or LA or Kansas City, but they own 13 houses here that are tenant houses, they actually get the letter and they go, wait a minute. So what you're telling me is for $8.49 or $6.49, I can actually have my tenant call you at 2:30 in the morning. I can have them call you unlimited number of times any day throughout the year, and I don't have to hear it, and I don't pay $1 more than this. Not only do I want this, I want the water, I want the sewer, I want the interior plumbing, because the interior plumbing covers stopped up toilets, so I need that, because I want this solution. So immediately they're happy, but who's really happy is the tenant. And the tenant comes back to your council later and says, I want you to understand who I am. I'm a mother of 3. I was the pariah of my neighborhood because I had to do what a mom has to do to make it right, to make it possible for my children and I to live. And yeah, I smashed that clean out cap, and I had to because I had to get the kids' clothes washed. But you gave me a solution. I'm no longer on the phone with my landlord, and my landlord's no longer cursing me for every time I have to call, because instead I can call right to the answer. I can get the solution. My landlord's happy that it actually made his cost half of what it was for me to have a problem once. And that's
Okay,
big
I was
deal.
just gonna say, you guys, I just want to kind of get a feel for you guys, how you feel about this, and not to interrupt, but
No.
each of these is supposed to take 15 minutes, and I'm gonna okay, so,
Go ahead.
my only quick questions are, you can sign up throughout the year,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and you always replace the line,
That's according to what it needs. But the plumber, which is your local plumber, they're the ones that decide. We ask them, what do you see? What do you need to do?
okay, and you've reiterated several times, there's no pre-qualifications, doesn't matter if they've had problems in the past, and they don't have to be signed up for a limited number of months before you replace
No,
them. Okay,
I need to fix one thing there. When they sign up, it begins 30 days later.
Oh, 30
So they
days?
will say, I want to do this. We go, okay, it'll begin on November 1st.
Okay.
Whatever, 30 days, yes.
you guys have questions about this, or?
I've got a couple questions. Okay, you mentioned somebody's 6 inches deep in water, we'll say water, in their basement, and this fixes the line. Does this just fix the service line, or does this do remediation work, or is that completely
The
separate?
damage to the house?
Right, so if it does damage, does that fall under this or no?
No, let me help you with that. So typically renters and/or homeowners insurance is going to say, hey, we'll come out, we'll put in new carpet, sheetrock, paint the walls, but the problem with the pipe, that's your problem. They don't cover that.
Right.
This program is all about the reverse. We're saying, no, we're going to fix the problem immediately. We don't do carpet and that kind of
Okay.
stuff. So we also don't have limits on how many claims you can have. That's a big deal because when you use homeowners insurance, if you make a claim, your insurance is going up. If you make 2 claims, you're probably going to lose your insurance. This program allows you to actually use homeowners, but not make a claim because you're going to actually cause the claim on us. Therefore, there's no claim on them unless it actually creates, damage interior-wise.
So there isn't a limit on the number of calls, so if somebody does call,
There is not a maximum number of calls, and there's not a maximum number that, annually you can only go, no, there's not. There is no maximum annually at all.
And no deductible?
The deductible is based on a national average. The deductible is $8,500 per incident each year.
Maximum? You mean,
Per
that's a
incident.
maximum,
That's the maximum per
but there's no
incident.
deductible when,
No, there's no
Okay.
deductible.
so the maximum is 8,500.
where does it end on the homeowner side? When it hits the house, when it gets to the sink, where does the service line branches off? Where's that?
That's very good question. So we partner with cities, and we literally, every city is different. So we literally say, and I've already checked with you on this, the city, I'll say, where does the city say we don't go past here? So if you say we stop at the curb, literally, then we say that we start at the curb. In your case, I believe you described as you stopped at the meter.
Situation.
So
Right.
it's basically the property line if they don't have a pit, and the pit if they don't But your question is
Where's the other end?
the other end.
No, I'm going there.
Okay,
I'm
you're
going
getting there.
I just
You're
gotta-
getting
Yep.
You start one, you need to do both ends. So we start where the city says we stop. And it goes all the way to the vertical plane of the house, so the wall, okay? But that's water, the water line. Same thing on sewer. As I was mentioning, we also do interior. So we go from the vertical, everything under the house, under the concrete slab, everything, including every single interior in the structure, in the walls, all the water lines and sewer lines, both, and stopped up toilets. That's $9.99 for each 1 month that they want to use that. And so they pick what they want, because residents, they're, no, I only need sewer. No problem. That's all you have. You have what you want, nothing more. So.
Okay, so I don't want to get too down in the weeds on this stuff, but say the water line runs across a third-party property, is it also included? As long as it's from the cities to the homeowner? I'm speaking from my personal experience.
Well,
Our water line runs under a parking lot that belongs to the church next door. So we have a really long service line.
Well, we don't have a problem with lanes, because we have some areas where you cover a 900-foot water
Okay.
line. That's not an issue.
I just didn't know if having it go across not the homeowner's property would be a wrinkle that would cause concern or
No,
not.
I will get in the weeds for you. I'll tell you that oftentimes when we find that, we will work extra hard to determine, is there an opportunity to actually run you a brand new line that won't create that, because
In the
it's
future.
better for you. Usually those things occur because your house is older, theirs is newer, they came after you, so.
Right.
Anyway, but
And connected to that, I know there's some water lines and sewer lines that are shared off of the cities. They go out and then they branch to different homes.
we cover,
So
yeah, I'm
Go
with
ahead.
you.
it's all weird.
I
Our
do
water and
7
sewer is very strange here,
So
so,
party lines.
yes.
Right. We cover from your house to the end of your line. When you become a party line, I'm gonna use her term, a party line, then that becomes everyone's, so we stop there. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And I say that because, just so you know, years ago, we were very ambitious and we took care of everything. And literally 8 family duplexes and multiplexes. And we took care of everyone's, except we would go into a structure that had 7 people that didn't use the program and 1 did. And while we were fixing theirs, we denied, this is what they told us, you denied the 7 people service because you had turned the water off so you could fix it. And so they sued us. So we said, okay, then we won't do that anymore. We don't. Now
Okay.
we do individual lines.
So 2 sewer lines ran to a T and then commonly to the
Right,
main.
we would go to the T.
So if it broke past the T, it's nobody can, it was not the cities or the
We can't cover
programs.
it because what's going to happen is that other person involved in the T can create a lawsuit. And so we go.
What
fine.
if, even if both of them are in the program?
If they're both in the program, then it might be a discussion. But if they're not, then we have
Like I said, wrinkles.
we
Yeah.
have to stop because,
I understand what you're saying, you know?
Yep.
Get to that when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Any other questions?
Well,
Are you done talking?
say something
Yeah.
happens and you said you'd get there as soon as you can. Well, in our town, we don't have maybe that many plumbers. So what happens if they're all busy and
Okay.
somebody needs something right away? Then what do you do?
Okay, let me back up. I need to correct some things there. So first of all, it's beyond amazing how big this program is. Each year, we send out 153 million letters. That's the volume of citizens in this nation that are using this program each year. So when we send out a letter and they sign up and they call us, and they go, and I'm going to give you this example because it's real. When they call us on the first ring, already in our call centers, the first ring, it already says, this is Miss Williams. She has a water line and a sewer line program. The second ring, hi, Miss Williams. I see you have a water and a sewer line program. How can I help you today? I got sewage backed up in my basement as fast as I'm talking. Right here is a screen that's showing all the plumbers that'll serve your area that we already have vetted. And that's not limited to your city, it's limited to we determine in the worst case scenario. To give you a level of worst case scenario, 2017, December 27th through January 2nd, that week, this area, all the way up into the northeast, had extremely cold weather. We took in 72,000 claims in just that little window I just told you. And that was from no other call centers but ours. We have 4 call centers. They're all, one in Chattanooga, one in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, one in Norwalk, Connecticut, one in upstate New York. They are our call centers for this program. They don't talk about Delta or Verizon or anything except this. And when your residents call, this is our requirement. Your program says you will get an answer. When you ask for help, your plumber will be back on the phone with you with an appointment within 1 hour. Our current time is 31 minutes. That's our commitment, 1 hour. And when they call back, it's Miss Williams. I'm in Miss Smith's house. I'm going to be about an hour and a half. Can I come by at 4 o'clock? That'd be great. That's how it works. We work based on worst case so that when you call us, we're not going, well, it's a good day. There's only three claims going on. We're always deep in the list because we invite all of the contractors in the area to participate. We vet all of them. We ask all of them, we say, you're going to need to be licensed to do business with this city. To be a business, no toolbox and a truck only. You got to have a license. You need to be bonded because we will guarantee everything you do, even if you go out of business during the job. We will guarantee you the work, and we will hire another contractor to finish it. We'll never leave someone in the middle. We will background check you and every employee you have every single year. So it's a process that we go through. And it does sometimes, and I honestly think in your area, I probably will end up saying to you, I'm going to need to look in the county, maybe 2 or 3 counties, depending on, because I'm not kidding, it would be not a surprise to me if I was required to have more than 20 plumbers available to you for worst case. And we do put a lot of plumbers in what we call emergency. And that means, yes, they might have to come from much farther away, but that's why they're the emergency. So we have a very solid number that are very local, so.
Okay.
Other questions?
Can you use your own plumber? If you have a specific plumber that you use, can you use them, or do you have to use whose program designates?
Here's how we do this. What we do is most people don't know a plumber, and if they do, they're not sure if they're the right one for this. So when you call, we have all these plumbers. Mm-hmm. If you call and say, hey, I like Davis Plumbing, can you send Davis? We probably will look, go, oh, we have Davis, sure. You can ask.
So they're part of the system.
But I do need to clarify so you'll understand. You can't just not call us and just call Davis.
I realize that.
Because I will tell you that we pay them directly. We eliminate another issue. This program is so deep in thought that one of the things we were dealing with is plumbers would show up and they go, it's $4,500 in there. I need $2,250 to get started. And again, the person's like, it's $1 million to me, I can't do that. So they just crashed. If they could get their half down, the plumber would go do the job and then come back, and now they're like, well, I don't have the rest. Well, you got to take payments. And so the plumbers were like, I'm not really set up to do payments, but they're doing payments. So in this program, we pay electronically, and the plumbers bill us electronically. The first question we ask them when we say we're setting you up is we say, send us your rate card. It's like a menu, and it just says, this is what we're going to pay you. So we won't ever have to discuss it. It's right there. And when they call us, say, hey, I just finished this job, we go, okay, you have a $194 call-out fee. You charge $525 an hour to locate the leak, and it says you ran 43 feet at $6.75. This is off their rate card, so it's very sharp. And then they say, yeah, and they go, okay, so I see that I owe you $28.50. Yes? Okay, then I'm dispersing that check now. That's how it works. And that's why your contractors are beyond ecstatic about working with us, because this program works with them, so they get paid right away. They don't wrestle with the hard part of, can I get my money? They don't have to tell people, I can't help you. And instead, they can actually go, I'm going out, I'm gonna do the job, because I'm authorized. From the moment we send them, they're authorized to do it.
Okay, so what else do you guys want to talk?
That's all I need to know.
You guys have any other questions?
I just had one other one. I guess what I think that this could be a good program. I would just want to make sure that we got our local plumbers on board, because I'm a plumber and I know how this goes, because I've all the time get calls from these insurance companies. Here a while back, I had one that was calling in, they had a water line that was bad in Fairbury, which is a ways away from here.
Sure.
And so I know that what they were doing was they were just calling every plumber that they could find on the internet and in the phone book, trying to find somebody that would service that area.
We have 11,000 contractors that we already have a relationship with, and, and we add more every city that we partner with, because it's yours that we're adding.
Yeah.
We have contractor conferences. That's how many of them there are. And so they tell us what they want to add to the program to help them do their job. So in order to adopt the program, I'll let you know, the step that's left is we ask you to make a motion to authorize the city to enter into an agreement for us to communicate the program to your residents at no cost to your city, using no city tax dollars, as a voluntary program for all residents with no requirement for any resident to participate. All in favor say aye.
Well, you
So-
just want us to draft a resolution, don't you? That's
Actually, I sent a sample resolution.
yeah, for 19, page 19.
Yep, and also, I was a commissioner for 9 years, so I actually said that on purpose, because very frequently, some cities will say, I'd like to make a motion, what he said. And so it's a simple motion that any of you could make. But, and then, so you know, I need to add one thing that you haven't asked me, is each time we mail a letter, every single time, not just today, but every time, before we send out a letter, I'm going to send the letter most likely to your city administrator. And we do this because we want you to know we do everything, but we want you to have absolute authority over us doing our job. And we do it all, so you don't need to worry, there's not a workload here. But every time I send out a letter, he's gonna get it, and I'm gonna say, is everything okay? Is it okay to send the letter out next week? And basically, he will probably say, yeah, everything's good, nobody has an issue, go ahead. That's normal, that's the normal. But I'm telling you this so you know that we do this because we want you to always have the confidence of saying, I have the lever here, and it's in our agreement that we cannot communicate anything until every single time that your contact, in this case your administrator, says, yeah, that's fine, go ahead. So I just want to make sure you understand. That's how we have our own checks and balances that we put in your hands to assure that. Is the sample resolution there?
Well, there's 3 samples in here, so.
We try not to pin anybody down to one, but like I say, that's why I verbalized that one to give you as that as a solution if you wish.
So do you guys want to draft up a resolution for this? Do you want to proceed? How do you guys feel?
Resolution for what, Madam Mayor?
To go forward and allow them to basically offer this to their residents in Marysville?
Isn't that between them and the salesman here?
No, we
What does the
authorize,
city have to do with selling a program to
we
people?
we authorize them to contact our residences and businesses, right, Austin?
And
That's
it goes
right.
out with our logo, I think, on the paperwork. I mean, it looks almost like it's coming from the city.
Is that true?
It has your
That's what
logo
we're doing.
because
We're
we're
advocating
communicating.
something for somebody. That should be.
Why would it go with our city logo on it?
Because we are partnering with you specifically to communicate this information. We do not communicate this at all to any city unless we partner with you to specifically state this information. And as I pointed out, that's why we also give you the absolute authority over it to say, this is doing what we want it to do, continue, or, and I respect the gentleman, or Terry, is Terry saying, you know what, I don't think it's doing what I anticipated it would do, so I would like to see this stop. And you have that authority. So, I mean, I respect you very much for that point, but that's exactly why we make sure that we give you all the leverage.
How did you know it was going out on the letterhead?
Pardon?
How'd you know?
It's actually in the information.
It's in the packet.
We're gonna advocate something for somebody to sell something to somebody else. We're becoming a middleman in this thing, and I don't think it's right.
Do we have some sort of agreement with the company that sends out for the electrical lines?
Probably not, because we're not involved with the
I
electrical.
get those letters.
I know.
And you'll have to keep this in mind too.
I think
because
it's a good program, but I think it's with all individual people by themselves, and I don't think the city should get involved in it.
I mean, there could be a benefit to having just one program that's endorsed by the city. It makes it easier for the plumbers if they get set up with the one program. They're pretty much good to go instead of having to work with many different homeowner insurance companies. I can see the advantage to that. But you have to keep in mind that when these letters go out, City Hall will be getting a lot of phone calls because people will be getting confused. Because here a couple of years ago, remember when they sent out all the mailers with, for Westar, for insurance on your service entrance and everything? I don't know how many calls I got from residents and customers were asking me if that was junk mail or if it was official or if they had to pay it. Because it looked like it was from Westar, but it was independent.
I will help you with that. When we send out these letters, the number one question, it is by far the number one question, is like 99+% is, the question is it real? Mm-hmm. That is the question. It's just sort of what you're saying. And so what we do is we offer, we do not require, but we offer a example of what we call press release, but it's for you to, if you wish, add to your water department section of your website saying there is a new program available. It is voluntary. It is available for all residents. We don't use any city tax dollars. And this is the organization, and here's the number if you want to ask questions. And it allows them to call to us so we don't tie up your phone lines. But I will tell you the balance that we see is, and I relate it to this because it's exactly the people that are calling, is typically, if you, just next week, or it's this week, typically cities will send out a letter right around now that says, hey, it's Thanksgiving week, instead of having trash pickup on Thursday, we're gonna have it on Monday, next Monday, or we're gonna have it Wednesday, the day before. Inevitably, there are certain people in the city that are gonna call the city and say, oh, I don't like that, I don't know why you're not picking it up, and so forth. Those people are gonna call you on the program as well. They have an opinion they want you to be aware of, and that is true. Those people are always going to call.
What does it say? That it's on the city letterhead?
The logo.
Well, but then they have the choice to tell them this is not mandatory.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the point we're gonna have to get across, is this is all voluntary. You don't have to do this. This is gonna be coming with your water bill. This is gonna be coming, with any of that.
Yep. Also, we put on the letter what you and I would call a Post-it note, but we can't call it that. So it's called a lift note. And on that, we personalize that for your city to say things like, this is voluntary, it's not it's in the letter, but like bold, this is voluntary, it's not mandatory. That way it sort of highlights first, and then they can read the letter as is. But like I say, there are 20 plus cities, 21 cities in Kansas that have it. Your Kansas State League presented this to you this year because they said there are now 20 plus states leagues that are already saying, we're endorsing this because it's working. So,
Where specifically does it say it goes on our letterhead?
in the agreement,
In the agreement?
yeah.
The sample staff report?
No.
The resolution?
The
What agreement?
agreement, I'm assuming I sent that.
Every single,
It's all
what
in
is,
there, because I didn't separate it.
yeah, it's,
Do you have permission to come up there? Is that all right?
Yeah, I don't see where it says it.
City trademark in conjunction
There's a
with
note on page
advertising
Where's it at?
to the city.
On what page?
It's on page 19, right, all the last paragraph.
Oh, city's trademark. I see.
And there's a little note on page 8 too, there at the top, where it benefits to the city under customer education, it says something too. I didn't see it the first time either.
Under which one? Education?
Education,
Oh,
customer
use of city
education.
logo promotes trust.
There. The key there is when we communicate, we need to let them know we're not just randomly not working with anyone. We are here first. We have put ourselves in your hands to say, tell us if there's anything that you want done differently. And that's why we want that way, so that you can say, this is exactly as we wish. And actually, to the point of I've already mentioned is, and if there's some point at any time that you say, stop or pause, then we pause indefinitely until you say, that's fine.
Okay, we've almost spent an hour on this, so we need to move on. So my question to council is, do you want to think about it? Do you want to make any kind of motion? How do you want to proceed?
I'd like to think about it a little bit more, or I'd like to actually reach out to some of the plumbers and find
see
out
what
if they would be willing to.
Call some of the cities. I give you a bunch of
Yeah, that would be good
Ottawa
too.
and a whole bunch of other cities that have it.
Okay,
Great, yeah.
then we'll just bring it up next time, but we need to move on, so. Okay,
Thank you.
so we'll bring it back up for discussion next week?
Thank
Next
y'all.
meeting.
I appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
All right, moving along to the vacating of the alley. Cindy just noted that it won't be in the paper this week, it'll be in next week. On page 24, do you have a number for it, Cindy? 18 something?
Yep, it'd be 1886.
86? And in that first paragraph, should that say block 69? You have block 69 here.
Yep.
Okay, so, do you guys have any other changes to this document?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
about the alley there, is there still any people that own any property that's in there where the lady gave us the ground? Doesn't somebody still have some lots in there?
That's
Isn't that
Like Bowman?
east of there?
Yeah.
East of there? Like this one is saying, it looks like the alley just goes to lots 7 and 8, and doesn't he own 7 and 8?
yeah, yep,
And
he owns that other side.
And he owns 5 and 6?
Yep.
And he also owns this one, but the city,
The number 9, but
he
there's
owns
no
9,
alley
but the
there?
city owns the one on the other side. That's why we're not taking it down there, so we don't have to deal with half and half.
So they just have the 4 lots.
Actually, they have 5.
Yeah,
Well,
fine.
they have those 4.
The 2
but
on
that's
either
what-
side.
Yeah, but 2 on either side. So
Yeah.
that's where he owns both, and that shed's in the center. You can see that shed's in the center of that alley. And
So
it
you-
goes straight.
So your question is,
Whether
on
it's
10, 11, and 12,
Whether it's eliminating farther east, if the alley's gone, as far as there's still,
are you worried about landlocking that land
right.
that goes to the community gardens
Well,
or beyond
no,
that?
it's somebody, I think it's a Bowman that's got some ground in there.
From the other direction he comes.
But how can they get to their ground if they don't give it to the city too?
Well, does it, who, you're saying the city
The
owns
city owns this,
4?
Carla. They own this and this. They own all that.
They own 4, 3, 2, 1?
Yep.
And 10, 11, 12?
Yep.
And are you worried about Ballman's owning over here, across the
It was all,
waterway?
it was all on a plat deal once when the lady, I think her name's Fisher, had the ground when talking about the disc golf and all that. And she gave lots back to the city, but right beside them, there was somebody else, and I think it was a Bowman.
It's a Ballman. He does own some, but
There's
it's...
ground in there, and I'm
not right in
just
here.
saying, are we
Where is it?
landlocking?
this way.
It
It's
comes
down
off
here?
8th Street,
Yeah.
It's
off
down
8th.
here?
off 8th
Because
and
this is
Jackson it
7th.
comes in.
And 8th is,
Have to have some fairness to those folks too.
Well, I don't think it's, Cindy, you're trying to say it's not adjacent to it?
not adjacent
No.
to it.
It's not adjacent to that alley that we're vacating?
Well, if there was ever anybody gonna go to that lot, wouldn't it be that they would probably use that alley to get there?
Are you
No,
positive, Cindy,
They
that
can't.
it's
There's
down
a
here?
shed that sits
Yeah.
right there, Terry.
Hey, what?
There's a shed that sits in that alley right now.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just asking.
Yeah, no, there's, you can't use, that
you see
alley's
that
unusable
shed?
now because of the shed sitting there.
And they
so-
say it's a terrible drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's
straight
Yeah.
down drop.
That's all I wanted to know.
So it's not, so your concern was that it was blocking other people, access to other people's property?
Maybe, yeah, I didn't know.
Okay. And Kevin, you're confident it's not?
I am positive it is not.
Yeah.
The garbage man
Unless they,
knows.
Yeah.
even if they tear down the shed.
Even if they tear down the shed, it's still-
not gonna
no.
make any difference.
No.
Okay. So, changing the date to that Thursday, I guess it'll be December something.
Yeah, let's see what's next. December 5th.
Okay. So the two amendments would be published on December 5th, putting the ordinance of 1886 and changing the first column, paragraph in block 73 to 69.
Move to approve ordinance number 1886, vacation alley
With the amendments?
with the amendments.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Is there any further discussion? Roll call?
Boss,
Yes.
Gebbia,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Tri's not here. Schroller,
Yes,
Thrum,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
7-0.
All right, the next item is the donation of water. I'll tell you what happened here. I was at a convention and tourism meeting, and they were trying to think of gifts that people could donate other than cash. And, they were saying, the city can't donate electricity because we don't own the electricity. But we do own the water, so I just said, maybe we could donate some water. That's how it came about. There's no commitment there, but it'd be kind of nice to have the city participate. And, it would just be a credit to their water bill.
Not water sewer, just water.
Well, it could be either way. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
It's $100.
Yeah.
That's just it.
It's just the concept, and I guess we don't book receivables, so we just bill.
We'd have to move it.
Well, do you do a reconciliation between what's billed and what hits water sales every month? So it'd be an
auditor does.
adjustment there.
We'd have to.
So you just have to, can you put a negative in the revenue side? Or would you have to put a donation on the expense side?
Yeah, we'd have to actually move it from one to the other, because every adjustment we make to water, we have to prove back to the auditor why that's not
To
what
the
we
billing
billed.
statement? Okay.
Absolutely.
So you could just take it as an expense, as a donation under 753 or something. Well,
It would, well, because that's a enterprise fund, one that makes money, so it always has to be,
separate. So it'd just be an expense out of the water fund, it wouldn't be transferred
be
to the
like writing
transient
a,
guest house?
well, it'd be like writing a check to donate, which is kind of a, I don't know, they tell me that's dangerous when we start donating this stuff, but whatever.
I think we'd just have an expense, which would be a donation to Convention and Tourism, basically, in the water fund.
does everyone pay their own water? I mean, there wouldn't be somebody that would be a renter that would not pay their own water bill.
Well, it could be. I mean, these are just for the, 50 homes that are signing up for the Light Up Marysville contest. So it'd be one of those 50 that would win it. I can't tell you if it's an apartment or not, but usually they're homes or businesses.
Right, I understand. More than likely, it's going to be those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we would make it so there's no cash value. So if we'd have to give some kind of certificate that says no cash value.
Yeah.
So we'd never be writing a check out.
Well, I understand that, but if,
When you make up the certificate, Cindy, you'd say no cash value on it. Okay? Cannot be redeemed for cash, so that they would only use it against a water bill.
no. I'm just saying, if they didn't pay their own water bill, then they wouldn't get nothing.
We do have
if they
some
didn't.
landlords who pay water. is what she's saying.
I know, but
Yeah. It's not likely to happen.
maybe they can give it to their landlord and get a $100 credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying. Yep. I think it's
So-
fine.
So, you guys want to make that contribution to Light Up Marysville? It's you guys' decision.
In the past, we've bought 350 in chamber bucks, the city has.
The
Well,
city
chamber,
has.
convention and tourism, we've always, or given cash, one year we get cash.
No, but it came out of transient guest tax. It
And
didn't.
that's what this $100 is coming.
No, it would come out of our water fund. When they went and bought chamber bucks, they were purchased from the transient guest tax fund, which funds convention and tourism.
So this is the first time the city's ever actually donated.
Yeah, and we don't
Anything.
have to. It was just an idea. I just threw it out there.
Cindy, you made a comment that you were told not to donate.
Well, when you start donating then how do you decide where do you stop? Convention and tourism money is always transient guest tax money, so that's always for tourist promotion and whatever. But when you start donating money out of other funds, then you have to justify why, and then which thing you donate to, is that more important than the other thing? So we don't donate. I mean, we haven't in the past.
I don't know.
Make a call, you guys.
I'll make a motion, we donate $100 to the
Light Up Marysville.
Light Up Marysville out of the,
Water fund. Is there a second?
I'll second it, just to see where it goes.
yeah,
Okay.
do something.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
So is it 2-6?
Or is Gina?
No, 2-5.
She's-
Todd's not here.
She didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything.
So
What
it was
said
So it's
there.
2-4-1.
2-5. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and you can communicate that to them, okay, Cindy?
So passed.
It did not
Did not
pass.
pass.
Did not pass.
Okay, the next item
That's also going to be December, though. Let's say December.
is the charter ordinance for, to bump it up from 5 to 6.5.
Move to approve charter ordinance number 22, transient guest tax
Again, that published date will be December 3rd.
with amendment.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
December 5th, I'm sorry.
Who seconded? Jason.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Oh, roll call, I'm sorry.
Boss,
Yes.
Pipia,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes,
Throm,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. As long as we're talking about that real quick, transit guest tax, they ask us about that Main Street, why we hadn't made that Main Street second half. Did you look into that?
Yeah.
Why haven't we?
Because we never got, the auditor told me I should get real numbers, audited numbers, and I can't even find the paper that Tony gave us. The numbers didn't jive with even what we gave them.
Did you communicate that to Tony?
Yeah,
why
I
he didn't have the
absolutely
money?
did. And
Okay.
he said he was going to talk to his board, and I talked to Ken Kiefer, because he does their audit, and he said, I have audited numbers. We're not asking them to do an audit.
Okay.
And he
So
said, I just
Tony
have to
Deaver
get it.
knows why we haven't paid him.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And, yeah.
As long as he knows why.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Kester House transfer.
It will come in the next ordinance, and it'll
December?
be like $5,000 right at it again, almost identical to last year's.
Okay.
Almost identical.
So that'll be
For the
next time?
wages less the money that they made at the Mother's Day market.
Okay. All right. So we will move on to the ball fields. Judd? I'll see if you can be quicker than our last guest. It was hard to figure out when it was an appropriate time to intervene, like,
I don't have a good sales pitch. I'm Judd Gladden, evening council and Mayor Gunn. Here to talk about the Lakeview ball field complex. We submitted a proposal for professional services to look at studying the overall drainage, and identify the issues, try to come up with some solutions, budgets for those solutions, and try to help you prioritize those with budgets, and then eventually get to one project that will fit a grant application, tailor the project for that.
I can't hardly hear you.
Okay, sorry.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Back up. So look at the whole picture of the drainage, identify some issues, identify some solutions with budget numbers, and then come back and you guys help us prioritize those solutions, and then pick a project and go after a grant application to try to get that project implemented. In that proposal, that laid out a process of how we could get, from the beginning to the end. But we're open to modifying that, however you guys see fit. Just let me know if you have any questions about that proposal.
So based on at least task 1 and 2 to be completed December 6th, and then task 3, the 9th through the 13th, so are you going to bring something to the council on the 9th? Is that your plan?
All that's going to be, the dates of that will shift based on when we get the notice to proceed, to move forward. I think what we put in there is, we'll be working with the committee for the, Parks and Recreation Committee that we'll be working directly with. So most of our communication will be with them. Then I think it's a vision, once we get to the closer to the final product, identify that project and what we think the solution will be, and then getting ready for the grant application. Then we go back to the council to present it or review it, look at questions, and maybe do a public open house in conjunction with that as well.
Okay. So in this proposal, the fee is $20,100, and that's for the engineering services. And then you're recommending us to contract with North Central Regional Planning Commission as well to write the grant?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Questions for Judd? Or motion to proceed?
I assume you mean completed by January the 10th, 2020, not 2019?
Sounds better.
Okay. I was going to say, you better hurry.
Well, so we've identified this grant that Wildlife and Parks administers as a good potential grant, and I think their application deadline is April 15th, 2020. So ultimately, that'll be the goal, if that's the best grant that suits some of these improvements.
Need to. Austin, where are we funding this out of?
Where did we set that up? On my budget book. We had $50,000 sitting in
Rec department?
the rec department.
In the general fund?
Yeah.
That we didn't use that $30,000 for the sidewalk?
Yeah,
I assume that's what you want to use for this funding?
that's what I figured.
Okay. Move that we go out to contract Swab Eaton for the Marysville Ball Field drainage improvement amount at $20,100 coming from general fund.
Recreation.
Recreation side of the general fund, yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, and that's authorizing the mayor to sign both of these
Yes.
documents? Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0, all right. That was easy. Thanks, Judd. Sorry to make you...
Thanks, Judd.
Thanks, Judd.
We didn't quite anticipate all that. At least I didn't, so I expected a presentation, but not. All right. Mr. Landell, you're up. Under business and discussion items. You're handwritten in, you're special.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Okay, I think most of you know, we pay rent for the property that's on the corner of the airport property.
Thank you.
We use that heavily, and what we're asking is, we use that approximately all but 2 or 3 hours a day that people are going in and out. And for safety and surveillance, we'd like to add a couple additional floodlights to the, so the light would shine to the east. But it'd be very similar, it'd be identical, I'm assuming, to what we've done that for the parking lot to the south, so our employees can go out to their vehicles after hours and not be, without a flashlight. But, we're still gonna, currently all we got for lighting out there is the lights on the forklift and flashlights to, for them to pick the proper trailer, because most all our trailers are different, and so they gotta pick one or another. And the way it currently works, in your lower left-hand corner there, you can see the city has got the street light there. There's 2 lights on that particular pole. One shines toward our building, the other one shines out to the parking lot. The electrical company, there's a separate transformer there, so all these lights are not directly off the line. They go through a transformer, so that the electrical company's paying it. When we pay our monthly rent, that includes the electric for the lighting. We intentionally, keeping them on the west side, because we definitely don't want to do anything toward the airport or the helipad. So we think that's definitely the safety way of doing it. The lower right picture there, that shows the trees there, so that gives you some idea. Then you look to the left, you see the poles, so the new lighting would be no taller than those poles. Phil talked to them, they have zero problem doing it. Please. Evergy. Yeah.
The new Evergy.
Yeah, okay. But they'll do it, and I would, it could be aerial lines and it could be buried lines. They're doing it for us, so it would be what they prefer.
Who's they, Don?
The electric company.
Evergy.
Yeah, the new
power light, yeah.
Would we have any concern at all with any more overhead? I know, like you said, you're keeping it away from the helipad, so that's not a concern, but since it's on the airport property, the FAA doesn't care about if it's overhead, if it's on the edge of the property, I would presume. So they wouldn't care.
It's on the cemetery line.
Yeah.
And you don't care either, whether it's aerial or under?
Not really. Yeah, everything to the south is aerial.
Right. It's usually cheaper
and
than digging up the whole
there's already a line across the road. There's a guy wire across the airport road to support that lower wire, which obviously is not very heavy, but there is a wire to the north side of the road already.
So if the lease were to be discontinued at some point in the future, would the lights come off the poles? I'm sure you'd want the cameras.
If we quit paying our bill, it'll be gone.
I'm not worried about that.
No, I don't mean that smart aleck, but they belong to the power company.
Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know about the cameras. I assumed if you, for some reason, decided you didn't want the lot to lease it anymore, you'd pull the cameras down and all that.
But these are spotlights, there's no cameras.
So there's no, okay, it said surveillance, safety, lighting, so I didn't know if there was any thought about putting a camera out there.
We got cameras a lot of places, but we hadn't talked about putting them there.
Okay, I didn't know if it's, okay.
So they will be on city property? And so, obviously, the city would install them, and then you would reimburse the city?
No.
Evergy.
Westar.
Evergy's gonna put them in.
Energy people are.
So there's no cost to the city because Evergy puts them in?
Evergy will, like you said, Evergy will own them, and they're just paying rent to them.
Maybe wooden, just standard, I imagine, power poles.
Yep.
So they'll install them on our property, so there's no cost to anybody there.
Right.
And then the monthly cost to that, how is that?
It's their bill.
Their build.
Yeah.
Well, if Evergy would bury the lines, I always think that's more attractive.
Well,
But
it's so,
they may not
it's
want to.
unbelievably simple, just putting that simple, but whatever they want to do, that's their prerogative.
So, that's no cost to the city, so why should it gather?
And they're gonna be those same box lights that, like projector
Yeah, but
spotlights.
they're LEDs, they're, I don't know, about that size, you know, 150 bulbs.
Yeah.
They pay us electricity now?
So,
No, they
Landals
don't.
is paying us
No,
electricity now?
It's just like if you put a street or a space light in your backyard, Evergy puts it up, but you pay for it. You pay the,
So we'd get the bill.
No,
They
no,
don't.
no,
they
it'd be in there.
Since they're renting from us.
because they're renting it.
The bill goes
The
from
bill
them.
go to them.
It's
Yeah.
just like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like a rental house.
Even though it's on the
Yeah,
city
just like a
property.
rental house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
I make a motion, we let Landals put up their lights that they want to.
So are you just putting up 2 lights, like where those little arrows are? Is that what you're,
I say too, it's not impossible, it'd be a third one put on the existing pole.
and even,
One that's
you
on
don't
the
want to
wall
put one, even if it's facing away, you don't want a third one up over in the corner over there? In that upper corner? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't think we really need one there, Bobby.
Okay, well, you know, I go past her all the time, and you're gonna see a lot there, but I don't know how, yeah, I don't know. I always worry about people going in and messing with stuff.
is that light pole on the north side of the street?
Yeah.
That one is, right there?
And that picture that's on the north side of the street.
Okay, so you're just gonna extend 2 more over here?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you making a motion, Diane? What was your motion?
I made a motion that we let Don put up what, Landals put up what they want, the energy put up. By energy, put up whatever they want to,
So would we be
The 2
contacting
lights.
Evergy?
Evergy.
No,
You'll do it?
they're already working with them.
Okay.
Second.
I'm just trying to figure out who is responsible for what.
They're gonna pay the bill. It's like if we.
We're not
our rental
responsible for
property,
anything.
We're just
We don't
giving
pay the lights
permission.
there. If you have a house, those people are responsible
For turning
to
it on,
turn
yes.
the, lights on and take care of it.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
you're
same.
authorizing the 2 new light poles on that property as in this picture?
We just have to authorize them to do whatever they
Okay,
pay for it.
we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I have one question, because we did something like this before, and it wound up the auditors and people came back and said that other folks, whether they're renting our property or not, couldn't put something down and pay for it. We had to turn around and pay them back. Now, I'd like to make sure that those kind of things don't happen, that everybody's happy, they're getting what they want, and they're gonna take care of it. I'm referring to the fence at the airport. That deal was a turnaround deal, and I don't know how it ever come out, but I know there was a lot of people said that you guys wanted it, and the only turnaround that the city paid you back. You remember that?
The fence.
The fence up there, the fancy fence.
But isn't Evergy will be
What?
putting this, Evergy will be putting this in.
Well, then it has nothing to do with Landell Corporation at all.
Well, they're renting
They're
the
paying
land from
for
us.
Yeah.
They rent from us, the city, they rent from the city.
Okay,
And they're asking their landlords if they can put these up. And if we tell them, it's like if you have a house and somebody wants to put
oh,
a
it's just
security
gonna be,
light
they're
up.
gonna put them up and take care of it. Excuse me.
yeah.
I'm off
Yeah.
base on that.
Yeah.
Forget I said anything.
All right, we have a motion and a second to let Landell Corporation proceed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ado, all right.
Okay.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, Don.
All right, I'm not aware of notices or hearings. We have a small consent agenda.
Oh, Mayor,
Yeah.
I might mention that at the last planning and zoning meeting, that the commission voted to approve the new jail proposal site.
Where's that at?
South of the current.
In their parking lot.
Don't we have something to say about that?
You just did.
Planning and zoning
Planning and
approves that. And I did see in the newspaper where there's going to be a meeting on Wednesday night,
The 4th.
the 4th in Blue Rapids, if you want to learn more about it.
Where at?
Blue Rapids, that's interesting.
It was on the front page of the
Community center,
newspaper.
probably.
That's what I'm guessing, but I'm not
Square,
sure.
North Square.
Outside the square.
So,
The new, what they propose is the new building will be adjacent to the current jail. They will keep the current jail,
Yeah.
is what the plans show.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a couple years since we went down this trail, but planning and zoning says, okay, we can't stop it? I mean, it's like we officially sign off on it, but we really can't sign off on it?
It's how every other, they submit their site plans, it's within the rules, then they approve it.
And we can't do anything about it?
Right, that's,
Right.
that's.
Ultimately, we ceded all that authority to them when we put the people on that group, that commission. We have no power.
As long as they're working
About that.
within the.
Within the rules that you guys.
You
So we
you
can
know,
change the rules
we
that
can-
they use, but
We can change the Unified
Checks
Land
and balances.
Development Code.
Yes, yep.
yeah.
You
OPC
guys,
is the only way around
you
it.
And that-
guys set the rules, yes.
And any kind of variance from those rules have to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals. And then they would have a hearing. So.
Okay.
All right.
When was that meeting again?
It's
January
Wednesday
then?
night,
December 4th.
December 4th in Blue Rapids. It's on the front page of the newspaper.
Oh,
I know that.
December the 4th.
I think it's at 7 o'clock, but I'm not sure.
December.
Okay. We'll move along. Thank you, Darlene. The consent agenda?
Move to approve consent agenda for 3,125 with Microcom Services.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0, all right. The appropriations ordinance?
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3711 in the amount of $398,661.79.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? Roll call?
Voss,
Yes.
Pipia,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Crom,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
8-0.
All right.
Next on the list is construction engineering for 7th and Broadway. Basically, we received 2 letters of interest to do the construction engineering for 7th and Broadway. That's for the transportation alternative project to basically connect the north and the Pony Park to the rest of the trail. And let's see, had the street committee fill out reports provided by KDOT to come up with a recommendation. After review of these forms, the majority of the committee was in favor of retaining CES as the construction engineer for this project. So the recommendation was to approve CES.
So the majority, was it unanimous?
No, it wasn't unanimous.
Okay. Did you guys read through here? Did you guys have any questions? I guess my concerns were on page 66 and 67. When I saw that their certifications for KDOT were expiring, some had already expired, and some were expiring in December. And then also, when you look at what they're having people do, like Clint Fredericks is going to do the EIT and the EMT, but he's not certified in either one of those on page 67. And then there was no information on certifications by Larry Nicholson. And it shows that he was going to do some certifications. So those were my concerns.
Well, if they already gave us their 2 cents about it, I'm sure they looked over all of this. And if we buck them in any way, I'm sure, is this for funding or just for the construction? We've already got the funding for it.
We've got the funding.
Got the funding.
It's just, this is the next step, approving the construction.
Okay.
But see on page 66 and 67, that, some of it expired in 2017, some of it expired 2019 in a couple weeks. And like I said, Clint on page 56 says he's going to do EIT and EMT, but he's not certified in either one of those. So I don't know if that concerns you. When I look at the other one on page, the certifications are page 74 for BG. And it's not that I don't want to use a local firm, it makes me concerned we would never want to lose KDOT funding because they don't have the right certifications. And we have had to go back and redo some work. And we can't, we'll never know if it was related to the engineering or not. So, but if you look at, on page 74, and you show all their certifications.
Well, maybe we need to check with Rob and see why he isn't certified. Or if he's gonna get certified.
Yeah, the one is, especially like Larry Nicholson, it doesn't show any of theirs. Did you guys discuss this at the meeting? I was not there.
No.
We didn't have their individual certification, did we?
It was all in that packet.
Was all in our package?
It's in there, yeah.
It was in it.
Does this have to be decided tonight?
No?
They haven't asked for it back yet.
Nope.
So,
Okay. Well, let's give
Next
Rob a
meeting.
chance.
Huh?
Let's get hold of Rob and take it up with him.
Well, I think we should. If it's significant.
Move the table till next meeting.
Okay.
We don't want to get in trouble for something.
these are KDOT approved engineers. These are on KDOT's list. So it's not that I asked CES to provide it. They are certified and on a specific list that KDOT's actually advertised for us. So that's just a clarification on that. It wasn't just randomly, I'll choose CES and BG. It was, KDOT did all the work to advertise.
So they said it was fine to use them.
Yeah, they're on their quote-unquote certified list.
Well, don't you think it's kind of weird, though, that, like, on this one on page 75, he's verifying that all those certifications were correct? I mean, that was the whole purpose.
And I'm not saying not to check on it, I'm just giving clarification that this wasn't random. They are approved to do work on KDOT projects.
So would the step be to check with KDOT?
No, I'll check with CES, because it's their paperwork they submitted. And ask why some of their stuff expired in 2017.
That's kind of important.
Right. So I can check with Rob and Tony to see why this was the way it was. And maybe they can provide some clarification on what's actually going on.
I think it should be.
Okay, so we are going to table that to the next meeting?
Okay.
All right.
The next one, you'll see the 2020 cured in place piping bid request. We've got 4 other cities participating with us this year. So I put it together. The contractors have asked that we get out our bid documents early so they can get us in their schedule, because they like working with us, and we provide a large enough project that they're interested in. So this is what we're doing.
Well, I went up to Midland and I said, why didn't you bid our CIPP last year? And he goes, because you're too late.
So we are,
And I was like, okay, we
we're
can fix
3
it.
months, we're putting it out 3 months earlier than we did last year. So, yeah.
She told me they would because she was afraid we'd get done and they weren't done yet. So Washington's
Well,
coming with a
Washington,
lot
aren't
of
they
feet.
putting, they just took that great big loan out, like $8 million for water lines, right?
Right, they're gonna do the entire city.
Yeah.
And that's why he was afraid we were gonna get done with CIPP because they want to piggyback with us.
As long as possible, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as possible.
As long as possible.
So I have the bid documents in. I'll pull up my sheet.
The most important line is on page 76 that he has highlighted. Bids will be awarded to the bidder with the lowest overall cost to the city of Marysville. Because I don't know was that just last year that we denied them all? Or was that the 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
It was cheaper for everyone else and more expensive for us, and I was like, hey, we don't, this is not a win-win for the city of Marysville, so that's the most important line.
So we're doing 13,000, or we have proposed 13,516 feet for this year. There's one line in there that we are kind of concerned whether or not it can be lined. So we're gonna have them check it out while they're doing the videoing and all that stuff. It's through the Kessler block. It's not a typical sewer line. So just throwing out that gives us some leeway. If they can't do it, then we're not sacrificing too much. So we kind of put a little bit more in there. So, and then, like I said, we have 4 other communities. Bids will be opened on December 18th.
Move to go out for bids on cured and placed pipe.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0.
I got one more thing, just to keep you up to date. I've been doing some work on recycling program, and I went over just to get a feel. Last week I went over and looked at what they did over in Washington, and I actually have a pretty nice facility and process to get their recycling through. They contract with Twin Valley to do the sorting, and then their guys move the recycling around. And on that visit, their director had told me that it'd probably benefit everybody if we joined with them. Basically saying, one of the points was they could move product faster. So basically what they do is they sort, they bale, and they wait until they have enough product for somebody to come and pick it up. And it's because they do a whole trailer load at a time. So if we are added in there, their bales go out faster than before, so they're getting trucks on the road faster. Twin Valley has already said that they have the staff and they probably could add 1 or 2 more. And not to sound like a detriment to them, but they're paid, they're low-wage workers that just want something to do. So that's a benefit to everybody, and they enjoy doing the job.
How would it be handled on our end and in the
That-
city?
The way I envision it, and this could change, is we would have a trailer for recycling. We'd park it out where we recycle right now. It would have, and basically mirror it after what Washington County does, and put it out 24/7 so that anybody during the day, anybody who after work can go and drop their recycling off in a predetermined bin, and separate it out like that. Once it looks like it's full, one of our guys would hook it to a truck, take it over to Washington. Their guys would unload it. We'd take the trailer back, park it right back where it was.
Do they do that? Is that you said it's flexible. I know some programs that they swap the trailers, so that way we're not losing an employee for any longer than necessary.
They said It works like
They're-
they do it just like this in Washington County, where they go out to, I can't even think
Every
of that.
town.
Every town,
Yeah.
and just do a straight swap out, because each of their towns has a different,
Style trailer.
yes.
Yeah, I've been to several.
So, and they're predetermined by the size of town.
Yeah.
So they can't have multiple trailers doing the rounds, so they go out, grab what they can, bring it back, unload it real quick, and go. So the whole switch out is actually pretty fast.
Pretty seamless.
Yep.
And you were going to visit with the county about
I
it?
did that this morning. That was the next part of my story. I went over to the county commissioners meeting this morning just to get a feel, and Dwayne, with the director of the recycling program, joined me to talk it over, and the county commissioners seemed pretty receptive, and they basically said they were interested but would like to see where the numbers come out. So it basically, it looks like we would pay an amount for them to sort out our stuff. Now, we're paying right now. The chances are, hopefully, when all the recycling stuff gets sorted out, pun intended, that money will be coming back, because they used to make money off of recycling. They, I think last year they got paid like $20,000, and he said in years past they've made $50,000. So if it turns that way, the money could come back to us. So at this point in time, it would be just like we are right this moment for a recycling program. We're paying for somebody to do the recycling out at Lakeview. So it'd be something like that.
Well, I'd be interested to know what the trailer would cost, because I assume that would be on us to get that trailer. Also, I'd want to know, the time, about how often, if it's once a week and it's half an hour over and they're there half an hour and half an hour back. Because I know we always have plenty of stuff for city staff. I wouldn't want it to be any more than.
I figured about a 2 hour, so you go pick up the trailer, you drop it off. I figure the most we would do is look in there. Yes, if there's something out of line that we don't want flying out, we'd adjust that, but basically hook up the trailer and go.
And we'd have to figure out what kind of trailer we wanted to use.
Yes.
You can use an old stock trailer, or you can get the nice ones with swinging doors and all that.
Right.
Whatever they can unload faster.
Exactly.
Probably nice.
Yep. So yeah, we can definitely work on that.
Well, the county has one, so what kind, they have one that they use,
The
we
big
would-
one?
But it,
yeah.
I wouldn't say works the best necessarily, but that old stock trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but I don't know that we need anything fancy.
Yeah.
That's true, though. If we have something that there's already there available.
Well, if they're gonna sort, why do we have to sort?
No, we don't have to sort.
So we just need a container.
Well, yeah, but
No, you have to sort.
You have
So
we don't
basically,
sort.
You have to
the idea
sort.
would be to mark
Rough sort.
certain
Yes.
parts, so you set it up so the trailer, you go, okay, cardboard goes in
You
this
still
section.
sort.
Yeah, you have the people sort for you.
Plastic,
for
Plastic, glass.
The finished
etc.
sorting, though,
They're
Yeah.
big boxes, they put big cardboard boxes in there.
Tote, like tote
Yeah.
size, pallet size.
Yeah, well, I
they
just,
get over
when
there
he
and
said they would
one
sort, I
number
was
three.
thinking,
Yeah, they would sort, but we would set the trailer up to preliminary sort for
Yeah.
them, so they could put
because
the,
at Tim's, you just put it in one
those
container.
are
exactly. Yep.
No, yeah, I know, I was thinking.
There would be a certain amount of setup for sorting and stuff like that, so.
You
and
hope people sort stuff to a certain extent when they
Yes.
put it in there.
Yes,
That's
and
the thing.
education is important too, so that would be another cost on our portion of it, would be setting up the education.
You put a
Education
sign on the
aspect.
box and it says paper, it says glass, it
Yes.
says tin or whatever, and you
Yep.
hope people will put it in there.
Yep, yes, exactly. So that's where that's at. Dwayne's gonna put some numbers together to see what it looks like, and I really like what they're doing over there, and they'd be happy. They've done it before where another county has supplied them with recycling, so it's nothing new to him.
That's it?
That's all I have.
All right, we'll run through your standing committee street.
When are we going to reel back all those one-ways down there by the school?
I should have asked that question too. What do you consider as end of construction? Because that's what the resolution says. Right now, that's all opened up, pretty much that, and so.
Are the bulb outs down?
The bulb outs are done, yes, all that.
Are the lights back up?
Yes.
The cross light?
Yep, I pressed them today.
So everything is functioning?
Yes.
Oh, well then.
It's just finishing work.
It's,
What's
and
left?
the intersection.
No, they gotta finish.
No, I mean
You
finishing
mean
work.
this intersection up here?
Yes. So
Well,
this is how.
Skipping this intersection,
Yeah.
that's a phase 2.
That's for the spring. So here's my question. If you take them out now,
I don't think
we
we're going to
don't-
do that one way there when we do the intersection, are we?
the reason why we did the one ways this time is for the bus traffic. Well, bus traffic's still going to be detoured because they're not going to be able to go down the highway.
So the one-ways, are they gonna be the same for phase 2? Do we want them the exact same as?
That's my question to you.
Well, I don't think you want to leave the one ways up for
I've
5
gotten
months.
a head-on collision down here on Walnut because people are so used to going the wrong way on that section in front of the school.
Yeah.
That now it's,
So here I'll pose it to you guys like this. If you want, we can pull the one ways, which actually works for our street department because of snow removal.
I was just going to say.
But I wouldn't recommend putting them back up if, so basically, I don't recommend going back when the intersection is down for north-south
Well, I
traffic.
think you're going to have different directional issues because you're going to feed everybody to Broadway, but not all the way down to Walnut and stuff.
Right, but right now, during normal times, the buses go down 10th Street, right?
Yeah, we'll have to
Down
go
the highway.
around, we'll have to go up to Calhoun.
And down that big hill?
We'll have to go up to Calhoun in order to come around, in order to load on the north side of the school, of the elementary school.
Oh, that's
So you'll have to be facing east to load behind the elementary school, is what they're talking.
So will you use 8th Street?
No, they'll be going probably down either,
that 1,000 block of Calhoun's a slick son of a gun.
I'm just telling you, that's
Oh, I
what,
know.
that's what they're,
It's
that's what
broken
they're
up,
talking.
too. Yeah.
Because come out of the Catholic school and go north and then come back around, so we can face going east behind.
You load the kids
elementary.
now on the south side, right?
Huh?
You load kids on the south side now?
Right now, but when they do that, we're either gonna have to load there and go around the block to the north or load them on the north side, is what they were talking about.
If you load them on the north side, then they'll come down 11th Street?
And even if we drive around the block, we'll still come back down 11th Street.
Are we gonna close 10th Street at Carolina?
You're gonna have to.
Yeah, well, I mean, is it gonna be well marked? Because otherwise, everybody and their dog's gonna drive down my alley.
Yes, they will.
And somebody
That's
will
the
get,
detour.
until somebody gets high-centered on that.
That is-
ramp.
That's the detour at Todd
That
Valley.
is the detour.
It'd be a shame if somebody puts some nails in that alley.
You didn't
But
read the map right.
Yeah.
Go-
But again, I think there are going to be different issues for that phase versus this one.
Yeah.
So I think if we can pull the one-ways,
I think
let
our
it
street
flow.
department would thank you if you pulled the one ways and called it good. But I just, on the back end, we either need to address or just leave be the
But
streets.
they're only looking at, what, a 30-day project on the rest of it?
They got
Hopefully.
Better be quick.
22 working days to do the rest of the project.
spring break maybe.
I guess it shouldn't take them long.
Maybe you can push it to June.
No, they have to start in March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
Well-
won't let them go any further than that.
I think you'll figure it out though in
Yeah.
February
So
what to do.
pull the one ways and
I think so.
basically say the resolution has run its term.
Yep.
Okay. Then we can do that.
Sounds like a winner.
Okay, I haven't gone down there to see the new street. Okay, the only other thing I had on street, did you read this on the League News, talking about the new reporting requirements for CDLs?
We've done it. Yes, we're working on it.
You're already working on that?
Yep, our company, Compliance One, has been moving us through that, yes.
Okay, great. Anything else on street?
Madam
Yes,
Mayor.
I have a question. Today, the street sweeper finally, for the first time this fall, did a couple blocks on, in my neighborhood around May and Jenkins. But how many weeks is it supposed to take the street sweeper to do
All of
the
town,
routes?
quite a bit of weeks. They're finally getting through all of town.
Well, they still, I mean, there are lots of blocks in Ward
Right.
2 yet
Lots of
that
leaves
they
all
haven't
around
been once.
Right. Well, they're finally getting to it. In fact, the last time I talked to you was probably, they were going through Ward 2 at that point in time, last Thursday. So it takes 4 square miles is a lot of streets to sweep.
But some
Depends on how fast you go.
streets they've done multiple times, but
Well, we have somebody new on it since Sam's gone.
Yeah.
And that may take a little while to get the that
so
pattern rotation.
does he have a definite map schedule?
He just gets to it if he is able to. So it's been out quite a bit. But if they have a job that he needs to be on,
But I
then they
mean,
pull him.
is there okay, this day you do this area, this next day you do this area? Does
If
he have a
possible.
different-
I mean, it's just, he starts here, and wherever he gets done, if he hasn't been pulled to another job, or if he gets pulled to another, wherever he stops, he starts back where he started.
Well, since, like I said, it lost Sam, so we don't have a dedicated person to do it.
But it takes a long time to get through all of the city.
Terry?
Madam Mayor, I think with this time of year coming up and having parties and celebrations and what have you, in the depot they're fixing up, it's kind of first come, first serve on the north end of Hedrick here. I think maybe the city ought to establish either yield or stop or something, because when you go north, there's no way to establish who's liable. There's no signs.
At Hedrick, is that Carolina right there?
If there's no sign, the person to the right that's how they teach you in driver's ed.
I understand all about the rules of that. However, when everybody's coming out of a drunken wedding celebration, it'd be nice if the city had established
You think there should be a yield sign on
at
Hedrick?
least a yield sign.
Onto Carolina?
Something for the cars going north on the street to Carolina. Or what?
Onto Carolina?
Onto Calhoun?
Calhoun, I mean. There is nothing
Is this one
there.
right here, Carolina, or Calhoun?
This is
One block north of here.
1 block north of here?
This
Oh,
is
so you're
Carolina,
on
two blocks.
Alston.
Alston, then Calhoun.
Yeah.
So you're on the other end of the depot?
Yeah.
Oh, so you want a yield sign at the other
Somebody
end?
comes out and goes that way, if they just pull out in front of somebody, didn't say whether it was a sign or there wasn't.
You guys okay with the yield sign going up there? He'd have to draft a resolution
Well,
to do it.
I just thought it ought to be mentioned, that's all.
At, a yield sign for Hedrick's at Calhoun.
Calhoun, on the north end.
On the north end of the depot.
I haven't thought much about it.
You're gonna be putting up signs there anyway for the trail people.
Right.
I would
now, we
almost
have
say-
water or anything in there.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I don't know. I'd almost say a full-on stop sign would be all right. I don't know why. Is a yield better than a stop there? Just because there's a stop sign on the south end where it meets
There ought to
Carolina.
be a stop
Oh, there is a
sign.
stop sign
on
there?
the north to match it.
There's a stop sign right out there?
Yeah, right here
Oh,
there is.
okay.
There is.
Well, you guys okay with a stop sign then at Carolina?
Or at Calhoun, you mean?
Calhoun.
Calhoun, Hedrick's, yeah. Hedrick's.
Hedrick
Okay, you want to draft that up?
Hedrick Street.
Hedrick's and, what is it? Calhoun?
Calhoun.
Okay. Anything else?
Where are
First
we
Street?
at on, where we are on Hatley Bridge? Have they done anything with the streets up there?
I
No,
been
they
up
haven't
there.
done anything with the
Aren't
streets.
they supposed to?
Yes.
Are we going to?
We're not going to.
Well, I mean,
Are they going to?
are they going to?
I mean, there's a couple different ways to look at that. Do you want the city to front the money for it and then basically charge it against their insurance? I mean, because I think that's how you act on it.
Well, I mean, weren't they supposed to when they built the development?
They were just gonna wait. We gave them an extension because they were letting the ground settle.
2 times.
Right.
And we have a contract with them.
Yeah, but I think that was passed, isn't it?
Right, it is passed, but I'm telling you how you want to act on
Well, I
it.
think it's settled by now, hasn't it? It's been
Yes,
years.
yes, and we've tried to get them to
Everything
move,
but the dust.
but, I mean, it's all, depends on how you want to.
But, I mean, we said they'd do it, they said they'd do it, we let them have a lot of leeway, and now they're saying they don't want to do it anymore?
No,
Or-
they want to do it, they
They
just
just don't
got
wanna do it
busy.
now.
Yeah, they got busy.
So there is no timetable as of now.
There is
We could
no,
make them do it in the spring.
That's what I was gonna say, I'm okay, it's not saying they have to do it.
I'm
this
not saying
week,
that they need to do it, but I
eventually.
think we need to keep on top of it, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
Agreed.
so it's expired, so are you asking Austin to get a date that they will get it completed by? Is that what you're asking?
Right, we need to be enforcing it, I think maybe we need to, so they know this spring that they need to be working on it instead of just keep
Right.
putting it off.
No, we've had multiple contacts trying to enforce it.
Oh, you have, well, okay, well, nothing's been said.
Maybe we just need to set a date.
Yeah.
We did.
May
We
1.
actually did.
We had,
Yeah, there was a date.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah, they've had a date.
I'm
And,
just being
It was a
generous.
year ago, I think.
yeah,
no, I think it ended either September or October, I can't
October
remember.
30th.
It was October this
Yeah,
year?
something like that.
Okay,
Yeah, so,
I think a
Or
year ago we
October,
set a
something like
date and then.
Working, so.
okay. Try to get them tied down and committed and sign it. Alrighty, anything else on the street? Water and wastewater, I read the highlights and I'm very glad that you're resolving the sewer issues regarding the demo incentives program. Because to think that, I think one time you wrote down that was a complicated issue. I'm glad the next email said, or the next highlight said, you're resolving it, so I'm glad.
Well, I think it hasn't been with the capping.
Yeah. But he said in the highlights last week that it's getting resolved.
But I would just talk to David today, Dave Richardson, and he said, like McCoy, still hasn't been capped.
Well, they've been capped, they haven't been brought back to the property line. And we've been pushing buttons to get it done by the contractor. So that's, yes, that is being, we're getting further than we were before, getting them committed to actually doing it.
They just capped it there at the house, they didn't bring it clear back to the property line,
Right.
correct?
Right. So we've been working, got a little bit farther with them, and if we feel like it's being resolved. It hasn't been resolved yet, but we feel like we've gotten a little bit further with them.
Well, let us know when it gets resolved. Anybody on wastewater? Parks and Rec?
Are we going to have a 4th of July celebration this next year?
Here's another question. Do you want to be in conflict with Blue Rapids' 150th celebration? They are holding it on 4th of July as well. That was posed to me.
Well, every city does it on the 4th of July, don't they? I mean,
Not everybody, but no, it just depends on how they want to do it. So they're trying to do it. This was a question to me about 4th of July, and I'm passing it on to you. I'm not either way. I'm with you.
Well, 4th of July is on a Saturday. We
Yes.
could do ours
Yeah.
on the 3rd, couldn't we, that Friday?
If there is somebody available, that's the key.
Or the 5th.
Well, it'd be the same thing on the 4th then, and the 5th, because they're not available. People you.
We got somebody on the 4th, or we got somebody on the 5th.
But you
On
already
fifth?
have someone lined up?
Yeah.
Okay.
do you want it on a 5th on a Sunday night, or would you rather have it on a 3rd?
I would say Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, I'd say the
versus
3rd or the 4th
Sunday.
rather than the 4th or the 5th.
Waterville does theirs on the 3rd, always.
And that would be the one that's on the 4th, is the person who does Waterville.
On the 3rd?
Yeah, they do the, Waterville's on the 3rd, yeah.
All right.
So they would do ours on the 4th.
Yeah, that's how he's available. So that, again, that question was posed to me, why do we want to conflict with a celebration they're trying to make a big deal down in Blue Rapids?
Yeah, I'd rather do it on the 3rd then and not interfere with their,
Yeah,
find
I
somebody.
think that just
Is Landell's gonna do anything?
community.
They're not doing anything.
They're not doing anything this year?
So, but what if we can't find anybody on the 3rd?
On the 3rd.
Yeah.
Then you want to do the 5th? I mean,
Well,
we
I
have a
mean-
better chance on either side when it's not the
Yeah.
4th.
Well, would you start looking and let us know?
If we can get the 3rd? Yes,
Yeah.
we can definitely do that.
Is that okay, guys?
And then
Yeah.
second choice, 5th.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we can't find anybody on the 3rd, we do the one on the 5th.
Well, the one that wanted to do it on the 4th needs to know right away.
No, I know that. I know that.
Because he asked me, or I talked to him again, and, because he wants to get his stuff ordered. So,
Right. No, yeah, and we knew that. We just, again, we're getting questions about it, so I wanted to bring that to your guys', thank you.
All right. Cemetery and Airport?
On the parks, Kester House, we got the number of the tracking, the guest tracking. What about the total of the ticket sales, income, and the total for the salaries?
I have that, because it's being attached to the next, that's what Carla asked about before. It's being attached to we pay it, it's being attached to the next invoice.
Do you have the amount?
It's about $5,000. Yeah, I have them. I could.
So 5,000 is...
The total, what we'd have to pay from Convention and Tourism to the Kester Block, it is almost identical to last year's.
But she's
So-
talking about what we took in
Yeah.
donations.
Okay, let me think.
And what we paid for...
Right, I have all that written on that page. I can go in the other room and see if I can find it. It's like,
We can send it out. We'll
yeah,
send it out.
it's like $1,400 we took in, if that's what you're asking,
1,400?
I think, if I remember right. But
And then
otherwise, we
how
can.
much
I think that's what we
tomorrow.
took in last year.
And then how much were the salaries?
12? I'm thinking 12,
1,000?
including taxes. I mean, you're pushing my brain here. I did that like last Friday. But I can get it for you. I have it figured.
You want to put it in the packet next week?
Can,
Just to make it-
or we can send it out with highlights if you want, or however you want.
Put it on the packet for next time.
Yeah, put it in the
put it in the
packet.
packet.
All right. Cemetery and Airport, Police and Fire, Admin and Finance.
Oh, I don't know if this comes under administration and finance. Well, I guess it kind of does. Did you all look at your Kansas Government Journal magazine, the October 19th, and this one where it talked about economic development? Did all of you read that? Well, I think maybe this is something to think about next year. The city of Merriam, it's a population 11,200 larger than us, and they're offering 3 grants now: the Exterior Home Improvement Grant, a Neighborhood Island Grant, and the Block Party Grant. I don't know about that Block Party Grant. But the Home Improvement Grant, the residents had to invest a minimum of $4,000 into the property, and the city provides up to 20% reimbursement, $2,500 maximum, for approved exterior improvements to residents' home. And the city, last year, they allotted $30,000 for this project. And what it could include are like new driveways, sidewalks, roofs, decks, fences, painting, gutters, solar panels, landscaping, and other things too. And then the Neighborhood Island Grant is 100% reimbursement up to $500, where residents to purchase and install pre-approved plants and provide upkeep for one of 20 residential islands, which could be like in the northwest part of the city where we have the buyout lots that maybe, the K-State students suggested some kind of projects like that. So anyway, I thought that was something to think about, and just a little paint or a few shrubs can really improve the looks of a neighborhood.
Yep. Amazing.
And, the other incentive for tearing down has been working real well, and this would be kind of building up. So anyway, I'll send this on over to Jason if he doesn't have his copy.
I'm sure he does.
Alrighty, I don't know of any appointments, no executive session that I'm aware of. And so, roundtable, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving. Coming up this, to everyone. Darlene?
Well, the civics subject for December for the junior high and high school will be on the census, and it looks like on our latest government magazine that they're talking about the census, and I think it would be a good idea for the next couple newsletters if we can put some kind of a blurb in there to encourage everybody to participate.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Start now.
Anything else? Bobby? Gina?
I'm not sure if this was supposed to be in the water, wastewater, where it was supposed to be, but I have been contacted by the young family that wants to put in the sewer. That has gone a different direction what they ever intended for it to go, and I had quite a lengthy conversation. And they really were posing it as questions when they were asking if the city could help them with the sewer, and they want to apologize for any frustrations that it's caused, but they also would like to know if the city would be willing to help them out, or what their options are.
Haven't they been given options more than twice?
Yeah, I thought we had kind of a list of options
Yeah,
to
we've
present.
given them options already, and they're just backing around on us again. Not killing the
They
messenger.
want different options? Or
There
is
were
that
more
good? I mean,
options, or they
more-
didn't like the first 6.
I says, I don't know what to tell them yet. I know who you're talking about, so.
Okay.
Okay, Terry.
I have nothing.
Todd?
Boy, it seems like there'd be something, but I don't have to.
Diane?
No, happy Thanksgiving.
Kevin?
Yeah, I have one thing. All these flags we have on the bridges, when we originally put these up, they were supposed to have been up Labor Day to Memorial, or Memorial Day to Labor Day, and then, it got stretched out from Memorial Day to Veterans Day, which I'm fine, but now they're just gonna take a beating through the winter. I think we need to pull them off the bridges for the
Oh, they're
winter.
planning to do it after Thanksgiving weekend.
Well, they should have been down by now, Darlene, I'm sorry, but we're paying for
We're
the
buying the
flags. The committee that originally started this isn't paying for the flags anymore. It's coming out of our budget, the city of Marysville and the taxpayers. So as long as we can keep those flags in good shape, they need to come down just as
I
soon
don't
as.
think they are
Don't think they are what?
in good shape.
That's the trouble, is we'll end up buying them.
Yeah, we'll be buying a lot of flags.
I feel
That's
like
why.
this is one of those projects we inherited.
Yes, and I think, like I said, I know that's gonna upset some people. And don't get me wrong, I love the way they look coming into town, but
I guess I didn't realize they were still up.
They're
yes,
still up. I noticed it yesterday.
yeah, all
I
of
thought
them
the
still
same
up.
thing.
So I think it's something that we need to get taken down, I don't care if we do it before or after, but just as quick as
We
we can.
don't do it though, do we? Yeah,
Huh?
we don't
Yes.
do it.
Yes, we
Well,
do.
one person.
We have one person
One
assist.
person.
don't
Right,
we?
and without him, they wouldn't be able to do it.
Okay,
Because
well,
he's tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I noticed Saturday when I went by, I noticed the one on the south side of the bridge when I was going out of town, the snap had broken off and just one of the hooks on the flag was, but somebody has stopped and repaired it again. So, somebody's working on them, but I think it's just something that's at the,
We fix them.
well, I don't know.
They're beating,
Yeah,
where
they're gonna
at.
take a beating with the
They're
ice and the snow coming this winter, so.
Yeah, no, their plan, I originally planned on taking them down Monday, but they came in and asked if they could leave them through Thanksgiving. And that was their last request.
so you're taking them down next Monday? Okay,
As long as they come down, that's all I care about.
okay.
Oh,
Jason?
Oh, I did have one thing. I remember what it was. Two people used the trailhead bathrooms in the Main Street building down here on Broadway. I pointed out, because they were like, oh, where can I go to the bathroom? This was yesterday afternoon before a bike ride group. I said, there's bathrooms right there. They went over and used them. They're like, wow, that's really nice that you have somewhere for people to go when there aren't businesses open and things for.
A positive comment,
So
we love
there.
that.
I was like, good. So
Good,
Yeah.
good.
put that out there.
Okay, Jason? Okay, oh, we should say Dave Hammett's having that reception, our employee at the library, or at the Advocate.
Advocate's holding that reception.
Regarding his
Yeah.
drawings on November 29th, but since he's a long-term employee, it'd be nice if we attended and supported that. With that being said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?